Hello, hello, my friends. Oh, let's get the camera up. Always forget the camera. Right, I'm already in the game. Um, Let me turn on some light as well. It's already kind of dark. Mostly on my end, though. Helps a little bit. Let me see if I can. I am debating whether I should up my bitrate just a little bit again. Let's see if Twitch is gonna hate me for this. Just a tad. Just a smidge. Alright, don't hate me, Twitch, alright? Stay in green, please. Alright. Goal today is simply just having fun. I think recently, my goal have been a little too focused on just getting MMR, which obviously is always kind of a goal, and it should be a goal. But it shouldn't be my main goal. I need to just play what I want and have some fun with it. Obviously, without going a little too overboard with it. I would love to play something like Morrigan or Ra in solo, but I don't think I'm gonna do that, because I think most of the time that's gonna be a bad time. But still, there are definitely some things I want to play more of, and I liked the rat last time. I want to give it a shot again. It went surprisingly well too, but I do think this matchup might be tough. It fully depends on how he plays it, but I'm assuming I'm against a Cerberus here and not a Fafnir. Cerberus can be pretty tough for any assassin, to be fair. Just because of how much damage he does, naturally. For the most part, I do think the rat loses most early matchups anyway, so it should be fine. Even then, I might win the really, really early matchup. I'm not really sure. I can't say I know a whole lot of the rat matchups, so the only thing I've really met so far, which was last time I streamed, it was Surtur. And he actually went pretty well into Surtur somehow. I even got a few solo kills in that game. Red's also getting buffed next patch. Yeah, I'm not surprised. He's definitely not that good at the moment. Red's a bit rough. And hello, Porosocial. Porosocial. Porosocial.
I am so fluffy.
Yes, you are. Now, one of the shitty things about Rat at the moment is I feel like the Acorn is too expensive. Because it's not really that good
Do I need to sharpen
to start out with, to be fair. That being said, it's obviously not bad, but it is a little expensive. You're kind of giving up a bit of your early game for it, and I'm not sure that I like that. I'll do TP this time around. My main priority here is simply just not losing the early game. I don't think I can. I can't wobble like that, parasocial. Speaking of physical activity, though, once the renovation is done, I have actually thought about doing a punishment stream, and by that I mean every time I die equals maybe like 5 squats or something like that. So, but I need functioning water in my apartment to actually make that work, because I think water will be needed those days. If you die in game, you die in real life. That might be a bit too hard of a challenge. I'm just gonna get stream sniped. I'm gonna get 5-man doved under tower and I have no choice. No, but I think a workout stream could be pretty fun. But I would have to do it a bit earlier than this. Because I'm not gonna start working out at 9. Because I would have to instantly go shower afterwards. So it would be in like a weekend at some point, like maybe like a Friday or a Saturday. And yeah, could be fun. I'm looking forward to it. It probably wouldn't just be squats. Like it would be a few different physical activities. Because depending on how much I die, which might be a lot, you never know. I don't want to just destroy my legs if it ends up being just squats. So. Okay. At least I got the very early here. Ah, that sucks. An early gang, it seems. I definitely might do a... Actually, I'll do that now. I'm just gonna back, I'm gonna get Chalice, and I can stay for much longer. Probably. Alright, let's do that. Then I can also get this, which I apparently forgot, so... I heard him jump, so I'm just gonna go all in for that.
An enemy has been slain. Your middle tower is under attack.
He is indeed leveling his 2. It's definitely a bit scary. It does mean I might need to save my 2 specifically for when he ever uses his 2. Or my 3, I mean. I need that stun available. Okay.
Enemy spotted!
Your right tower is under attack.
I'm also gonna try a bit of a different build this time around. I'm not gonna do the same thing.
You think you can just pass away like that?
I'll try the cooldown build this time and see if it's something that I like more. I'll also go for a bit more damage than I did last time. That one scared the shit out of me. Yeah. Scary. I need to just not get hit by his one ever. Even though he is leveling his 2, so his 1 isn't that scary. But still, the stun is still pretty brutal.
Enemy missing middle.
Yeah.
Careful.
This is mine. No sharing.
Enemy missing right.
Be careful left.
Ward here. Gank.
I wanna go fast.
Mamma mia, not again.
Damn, Duo needs to be a bit more careful. They're losing the 2v2s now.
Maybe a little soft bit at some.
Mine.
Your right tower is under attack.
Take that.
Let's get this real quick. It's a pretty big upgrade.
Do I need to sharpen my teeth too?
Now I have 2 of my 2s, which is very nice.
Mwah! Compliments to the chef.
Swoosh! Swoosh!
Mamma mia, not again.
Which is gonna give me a lot of damage. Any assassin really having 2 abilities is gonna be pretty pog.
Compliments to the chef.
You're screaming the starter delaying it? Oh yeah, starter sort of thing. I knew that. I guess I should get my starter. I'm not gonna lie, I completely forgot about it. In my head, Rat's starter was just the acorn. So the question is, or the answer I should say, is I'm delaying it. It was indeed not a calculated choice, but I don't actually think the start that I went with was bad.
Enemy ultimate dam.
But yeah. What I would be going for anyway is blue stone.
Ready to go.
Always. Everyone knows it. What else would it be? You could be a bit annoying, especially if you're gonna go for a frontline type of build. You could go for Sigil. I actually think Sigil may have been a better choice here specifically, but at the same time they have a nemesis.
Attack.
So there is also that.
That was a salty and jump. Wow.
He just does not want to fight at all.
Quite impressive, you know.
I'm not going close to your tower. I know what you're trying to do.
Your right tower is under
territory. Take that!
Attack! Your middle tower is under attack.
Swoosh!
Enemy missing middle.
Attack!
Enemy missing middle.
Over the trees and through
An enemy has been slain.
A bit of a sloppy gang, I would say. He should have just waited.
An ally has been slain.
I'll actually just get a flat shield here, even though I'm against a magical.
are secured safely.
I want to get the glad shield early. I could also have gone prophetic to get the double protection online quick, but I'm not sure I'm gonna go prophetic at all in this game.
Your middle tower is under attack.
I got you!
Yeah, no worries, Neo. Don't worry about it.
What you get for messing with the
I understand.
rare. Mine. Silly.
Attack! Attack!
Take that!
Yo! Don't come back again! Your right tower is under attack.
I got you! I wanna go back! You're mine!
He really likes jumping the wave.
Your right tower has been destroyed.
Personally, I don't think it's worth it on Cerberus jumping the wave, because you'll just end up taking as much damage as you heal, because you barely heal anything.
This is mine! No sharing! Wolves can climb trees!
Attack!
Watch me! Over the trees and through the woods!
Think you can just pass down? That was sorry and joke.
Enemy missing right.
Your middle tower has been destroyed.
Damn, everyone else is getting completely clapped though, it seems. Baka is obviously doing well,
Enemies at the Gold Fury.
partly because of how easy it is to just kill the Cerberus.
I got you!
Enemies at the Gold Fury.
Your middle tower is under attack. The enemy team has destroyed the Gold Fury.
Blink tomorrow's patch? I think so. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna play tomorrow.
Wow! He must have jumped around me.
So yeah, let's do that.
Enemy spotted.
An enemy has been slain.
I would hunt, but it is so boring.
Let's grab a... is this a beats game? Probably not. I'm gonna go blink. I mean, it is a beats game, but... eh. How's the circle even work? Like, how can you jump outside of your ult? You press 4 and, you know, it has a pretty big charge up time, so you just press 3 in the meantime. It's pretty simple. Like, you don't have to press it right after pressing your ult, pretty much. Baka just actually just jumped out after I tanked that for him.
All my nuts, I mean meats, are secured safely.
Enemies in middle lane.
I wanna go fast.
Damn. Fafnir almost got him out with all these slows and shit.
Ultimate dash.
Swoosh!
Take middle lane.
I wanna go fast. I got you.
Ally has been slain. Wow, he must have choken on the meatball.
I'm marking my territory. I do wolves
Hit him with that secret saw. Mamma mia, not again.
Yeah, didn't have anything to help out Gip. And once again, they almost peeled me off.
on my way.
Destroyed the pyro. On my way.
Take that.
This is your specialty.
Damn. He went a little deep.
I would hunt, but
Enemy missing.
it's so boring.
I'm gonna see if I can keep a ward on fire, just in case. I mean, actually, they have Scotty,
Enemy has been slain.
so they can't actually do it that quick.
I wanna go fast. Enemy missing left.
Wow.
Careful.
He must have choken on the meatball. Okay, stop.
I don't believe it.
Be a little soft here, son. Mamma mia, not
So
again.
sorry.
Enemy missing middle, no problem.
At least they got some beats, but
Ew. What is that?
You threw the pizza pie at his face.
I wanna go fast.
Whoops.
An enemy has been slain.
Was that Shell? I think it was. I'll take it, because I don't think I would have been able to kill her anyway. I went for this fast landing. Didn't work out, but I'll take a shell at least. It's not looking too good over there.
An ally has been slain.
I got you!
I don't really have the mana to stick around.
This is mine! No sharing!
They got them disarmed though.
Just passed away like that.
You're mine!
He already had that back up? Okay. Alright, he's got a decent amount of cooldown. Yeah, actually, he's overcapping on cooldown already. He's got 3 items. They shut down Bakasura. It's not good.
Your middle tower is under attack.
Middle lane.
Mine! I got you! Over the trees and through the woods!
Wow!
Wolves can't punch! What?
That was a fucking joke. Fresh meat has been tenderized.
Your left tower
Attack the minions! We need wards!
We don't really have vision on this, so it's kind of scary.
I'll defend!
Your middle tower is under attack. Your left tower has been destroyed.
Oh, this guy isn't right, so the only who can is Cerberus.
In middle lane.
Be right back.
Your right tower.
Baka is very controlling of this game. I'm surprised. He's playing very well.
Sharpen my teeth too?
I'll get a Spirit Robe as my last thing, I think. Actually, maybe a Mantle of Discord. Might be really nice to someone like Rat.
Over the trees and through the woods! Enemy ultimate down! Wolves can't climb trees! Watch me!
Your structure.
Oh, thank God Gep was there.
On my way. Follow me.
An enemy has been slain. Okay, so maybe a little soft here.
Performance.
Wow! You must be on a meat. Buon appetito!
Performance approved.
An enemy has been slain.
Attack middle lane. Attack. On my way.
Hey, Boom, what's up, man?
Be right back.
You're mine.
Choking on the meatball. An ally has been slain. Double kill. That was salty anchovy.
Attack.
You have slain an enemy. Bravo!
They all just chased and went back in and died. That's kind of funny.
Attack the Titan.
Your team has destroyed a left enemy.
Nemesis is gone. Nemesis is not around anymore.
Retreat!
I don't know. I kind of feel we could have ended, but
That's too bad.
at least Titan's very low. And we got another Phoenix, so doesn't really matter. But it is prolonging something that probably just should have happened.
Enemy meats are secured safely. Okay.
Yeah, I mean I do a lot of damage, so I understand. Baka's still the one they probably should focus though. But they do not have a good combat dealing with the Baka, so there is that.
Mamma mia, not again!
Attack, attack, attack.
I'm marking my territory.
Attack the Titan. On my way.
Wolves do this.
Attack.
Here's some inspiration.
Shut down.
Alright, I just had to stop them. Without Nemesis and Fafnir, they're not defending that.
We've done what we came here to do.
Bye-bye.
Good game. I...
Yeah, today, as I've mentioned before, like, today my goal is pretty much just to have fun. The meta's gonna change from tomorrow on. And with it, I imagine a soft reset of some kind. Right? Maybe it doesn't happen every patch, I'm not sure. But whatever the case, we'll just chill. Yeah. So a soft reset, I imagine. Or is it a full reset? I have no idea. Who knows? Nice win. Yeah, it was a fun game. I liked it. Obviously, Baka helping out with my lane helps a lot, but at least I killed the Cerberus before Baka showed up. So, it's fine. We good. I do think the rat solo works better in... Like, if you know how to deal with it, I think it is pretty weak. But Baka does have one really, really strong point during the laning phase, and that is if you can stay even against someone who, you know, isn't overwhelmingly powerful. Like, let's say if I meet a Hercules, I'm probably still gonna lose no matter what I do. But if I meet, you know, something like, let's say like a Cerberus, or I mean, honestly, even someone like a Surtur. Let's see. Let's look at the warriors real quick. If I meet someone like Wukong even, potentially, I think some of the too tanky ability spammers will be tough for Rat. But I think the ones where you can kind of keep a distance and go in and out, you're gonna have a real good time. So if we're looking at, let's say, Guan Yu is probably a pretty bad example, but I don't know. Actually, when I'm looking at the top warriors, Red will not do well against the top warriors. But let's say even something like a Gilgamesh, or honestly, even if Hercules misses his one, there is a big chance that he's dead. What my point really is once you finish your Acorn and you can use your 2 twice, that is a massive, massive advantage. You can use an ability twice. So if you can land your stun into a double 2, you will destroy your target. Which is what happened against Cerberus once I finished it. Now, I did kind of screw up my build, because I forgot to actually go for my blue stone in the beginning. But normally this is essentially how the build is supposed to look. I'm just stupid and I haven't put blue stone on this build yet, which is why I forgot about it. So if I can just fix that real quick. So yeah, this is generally the build that I would. That I try. I don't know if I would recommend this build, but this is what I tried, and it works pretty well. In the last game, I didn't do this though. I went for a Black Thor last game. I think that's pretty much the only difference. These down here are just potential items, but I pretty much just went for this. Instead of Prophetic, I just went straight into a Glad Shield. Right here, I went for the Hammer, Glad Shield, and then I actually went Prit one. So I think that works just fine. I think the big thing is getting some cooldown, because you definitely want to be an ability spammer. Even more so because you're a frontline. But if also you can have your ult up as often as possible, you also have that threat. I do think Res ult at the moment is pretty weak though. It's good as a rotational power and just being there when you're needed type of thing, but like it is just a worse Thor ult that is also easier to spot. It just isn't that good right now. It's kinda weak. Oh yeah, and Neo, I don't know if you're still around. But about your comment about Gep solo, while I think that is very fun, I do not think I could carry a game with Gep solo. Unless I had someone else in my team who, shall we say, were able to, carry in case. There's no way I'm winning the lane as Gep. Absolute best case scenario is I'm gonna stalemate it. And we're just simply even. For some reason. Because I won't be able to kill anything, really. Like, not really. I have to be against a physical so that I can go mystical mail. Then I obviously can, to a certain extent. Like, Gip would have pretty decent secure on a buff, because of his 2. But that's about it. Gep doesn't really have good wave clear, and his cooldowns are so long. I would love to play Gep solo, but he just does not fit. He is so anti-solo. He's so built around having to be around someone else. It just doesn't work. I would be super down to do it in a casual, but even in a casual game, I'm pretty sure I would make it very clear as to why it's not fun to do in like a higher game. It's kind of the same reason why I wouldn't run something like Bacchus, because I would also love to play Bacchus solo. But Bacchus is the same problem. He just doesn't. He's not good at killing buffs. He's just gonna struggle super hard. And I don't think that's particularly fun. I think I need to play something that can at least kill buffs. Because solo is... You're fucking half jungling at this point. You have so much shit to kill. You gotta be able to have some good clear. Artio ban. Tier, huh? Not tier. Damn.
Your god.
And right here, I would have insta-locked Artio. But my team banned it. So no Artio for me. I'm assuming this is a tier solo, but considering this person also hovered so big, it could be a tier support. I can't really just lock that one out. If this is a tier solo, I feel like the choice is somewhat clear. I have to play Hercules, right? Which is definitely a bit on the try-hard side, but I do actually feel like playing Hercules right now. Play Geb. Geb into tier though? I don't know. The thing is, Neo, I would have to play with you if I have to play Geb though. Because I can't play Geb and I need to play something where I can make a bigger impact. If I play Geb solo, I need to know someone else can carry in the game, and I don't know anyone on my team. Geb is gonna be real hard to carry with. Not so much in the team fighting stage. Like, then he's great. If I can get a big ult into a big knockup, great. I can completely destroy someone with that, with a somewhat hybrid Geb build. But laning phase for Geb is horrible. It's so bad. Meaning I would probably have to give up almost everything in solo to just get by. So I need someone else to be there too. Not with me in lane, obviously, but just I need someone to do well in my game. Also, this would have been a great Vamana game. They have so much physical. Should've went for the baby. Hey, Lobster Weatherman. Hope you're having a good day. But now, I'm more than down to play Geb solo. Because I love playing Geb. He's so much fucking fun, but I can't play that in ranked without having at least one reliable teammate. Out the games. I've only done one so far. It was great. I pulled out the good old Rat solo. It went great. Rat solo definitely has a unique strength that literally nobody knows how to deal with it. So that was fun. Yeah, Gepsel feels so good right now, but I get you playing feedback. Okay, I mean, let me give it to you like this then. Since actually no, let me ask this first. Does the split reset tomorrow, or is it just like a soft reset? Because if it resets, sure, let's do it. Also, Ayuo, I believe, is someone people hate. I don't remember. Remote to reset since 8.0. Okay. But no one knows. Alright, that's not very helpful. No one knows. It's a soft reset, okay. Alright. Well, if it is... I don't want you. If it's a soft reset, I don't know if I want to just somewhat throw away a game. Obviously, that's not exactly it, but playing Gep will mean that I won't be able to win my lane. More than likely. I would have to meet something weird or someone who is an inexperienced soul laner. Because I legitimately do not see how I could ever win the lane as Gep. It's the same thing as playing Ganesh in solo. You can use your big, like, clear on the wave, and that's it. You can't... Now you have to wait 15 seconds before you can do anything again. It's just super awkward. And that's just the sad truth about a lot of Guardians in solo. You have to pick something crazy aggressive in solo to make it work. Because if there's something I don't want, it's falling behind on a Gep solo. Another example is Sobek. Sobek has great clear for the most part. Or like he's got decent clear. Because he's got two abilities to, you know, to clear the wave with. And not to mention, if he still goes too deep, he still got the pluck and a dash to get out. Gip's escapability can be blocked pretty easily. On top of it, also you kind of need to use it for the wave. I don't really want to do that. So that kind of just leaves you with a single ability to clear the wave, and it's just not going to go very well. There are many other things I would be super down to play, but Geb I will not play unless I know I can rely on my team. It's gonna be rough otherwise. I'm pretty much only asking for that. I just want clear. Otherwise I feel like I'm just giving up the lane. Geb will be alright once you get to level, I don't know, like 10. Kinda gave me the lane in this one, my friend. Damn, okay. He went Thorns. Damn. Okay. Never mind then. I'll take everything back. He clapped me with Thorns. He went full in on the... I will just kill everything, because you can't actually fight anything at level 2. I'll just kill you instead. Type of mindset. He went in, and now I lost my blue buff. I still think I'll win the lane, but... Alright. Thorns. Also bullshit, Paris. How did that not pull him? Gabe would have won that engagement. I believe it. Gabe wins every engagement. Well, that's not looking too good for my mid and jungle. Losing blue is the worst part. You literally just can't fight back anymore.
Ahoy, me hearty!
Cancel that.
And the gold fury.
Why do they want me to rotate? I'm dealing with fucking tier. Alright. Actually, this is fine. If you're gonna stay over there, I'll do my blue. Tyr went into the jungle. I'm not gonna go past the jungle if Tyr is there. I'm not gonna lose. I'm not gonna win that fight right now. Not after I lost blue. Like 2 abilities and I'm completely out of mana, as shown right now on my screen. So no, thank you. I'm chilling, big time.
Now, I need a worthy opponent. You think you can just
Hmm.
pass away like that?
Oh. Kinda sucks I can't finish my not breastplate, my frostbound here.
Woohoo! I have found my purpose. Cancel that. You're a powerful bender.
AMDI, what's up, man?
An enemy has been slain.
The reason why I'm not waiting for it now is because I have TP. I'm just gonna make sure I don't miss any XP,
Enemy ultimate down.
and then I will be back.
That's time for some tea.
I don't know if he's... I assume I got his one, otherwise he would be clapping me right now. Sad part is, I've kind of missed the opportunity in where I had a big advantage on tier. Now he's gonna be annoying.
Give up on the raid.
You're a powerful bender.
okay. I have a feeling that my Giannis is already being a little bitch, and he's not going to be calling missings now. Alright. I don't even know who my Giannis is, but he was at the top.
Enemies incoming middle. On the meatball.
I imagine Tyr is probably rotating.
Time for some tea.
He is indeed.
Mamma mia, not again!
Powerful
Double
bender.
kill. Mwah! Compliments to the chef.
Your middle tower is under attack.
Let's see if... I assume Erlang was gonna go for his shit here. That sucks. Yeah, my team is so tilted. I don't understand. Why do you play a game to just be mad? Huh? Why you play a game to be mad?
Enemy has been slain.
Why do you have to be mad? We don't need to talk about that. I am actually just dead.
Two meatballs
You're a
is better than
powerful
one.
bender.
That was a salty and joke.
Somehow I'm not actually just dead.
Don't come back again.
Already wearing the weight.
You see, this is what happens when there's when there's negative energy. People just match. But I mean, kills are still even, so doesn't matter to me. Also, who the fuck is Klino? I don't know this guy, but he's playing a pretty good tier. I'll probably just play it safe, because if there's a chance Raijin and Thor will suddenly walk up behind me, I don't want to chill with him at all.
Okay, stop.
Then it's no longer any fun.
A little salt did hurt some. Double kill.
Where you off to? To me. Vanquish you.
Ultimate is ready.
You're a powerful bender.
I'll be ready to ult it this time. I don't want to lose it again.
Enemy spotted.
Compliments to the chef.
Right, even Erlang is here.
Enemies at the fire giant!
Enemies incoming middle.
He must have joker on the meatball. An ally has been slain. An enemy has been slain.
He was in the word too. Go away, Tyr. I don't want to play with you. I don't like you. get this goddamn contagion online.
It's important to look good in battle.
You're a powerful bender.
I want this. Don't stop me, Tyr. Also, why the fuck am I 3 levels down? Oh yeah, he did get a kill. No, all my shit. Alright, it's fine. The big one's tanking. Good job, big one.
This jungle needs to be watched.
You're a powerful bender. Stay down.
Well, I suck.
You're welcome.
I kind of screwed that one up. We should have had Erlang much earlier, if I just didn't miss my one. My bet. I'm so close to 12, I don't want to back yet. Yeah, Dutch is, he's got 9 kills now. I do not know what's happening around mid. But that man is fragging.
Radical.
Yeah, I think Barkus might just be trolling. I don't know, he seems to die on cooldown for a little while now. He might just be super aggressive, but... I mean, Giannis is also kind of just dying on cooldown, to be fair. Everyone is dead. Literally everyone is just dead. Come here, Tyr. I don't really mind if we keep going or not, to be honest. The only reason why I don't want to continue this game is because of my teammates. They're just all so mad. It's unbelievably how mad they all are. Is having fun really not the focus for people anymore? Hmm?
You're a powerful bender.
I don't want to fight you, Tyr. You hurt! Enough! Giannis got my blue though, so Giannis is kind of a G.
Enemy missing middle.
In the darkest times, is something you give yourself. That.
Alright, comeback time, team. Comeback time! I got a kill on Giannis. Not Giannis, Regen. Stealth Hercules. We're good. We got him. Suddenly 3k gold in the lead, yep. They do have a lot of gold. They're getting overconfident. This is the comeback we needed. It does suck though. Bacchus has definitely resorted to trolling now. He's just kind of taking all the mid stuff. Do I do Glad Shield? No, I'll do this shit. Then I'll do this shit. I'll do this shit. That shit. I got all this shit now.
Enemy spotted.
Man, my tower is not lasting. Yeah, we're chilling over here, Klino. Not really much we can do over here. Not anymore.
Enemy missing right. Okay. Do your best. Maybe a little salt did hurt. An enemy has been slain.
No, my blue buff. I don't believe it. What does his blue buff spawn? God damn it. This is the worst. Actually the worst game of Smite ever. When the fuck does your blue spawn? Why is it so out of sync? Dude! Give me your blue buff! I'll fucking steal it, all the shit out of it.
This is the moment of reckoning. Enemy missing right.
Is it up? Alright. See, now we're back in the game.
Bender.
Your middle tower is under attack.
Now we're playing the game again.
Your middle tower has been destroyed.
On a more serious note, I don't really know how we're supposed to come back into the game. Not because I don't think... I think we would have a chance normally, but look at what's happening. This is actually just actually arena.
It's electric.
I'm TPing back in.
An enemy has been slain.
On my way.
He's not getting away, but... The big one? Which one of them? Okay. I agree with the small one. We do have low Kianas. We actually do have a chance of winning this if we can just catch these guys up. In terms of actual carry damage, we'll be good. Ah, fuck it. Bro, are we actually going on the tier? Is this a good idea? Alright, it is a good idea. Good job, team. I knew it was a great idea. Thor hammered.
Okay.
Do your best. Destroyed a middle enemy tower.
I was ready to peel in case someone got pushed. I want to just keep farming. I don't want to fight anymore. Tyr is still a level ahead of me. It's definitely winnable, yeah, for sure. Alright. Fair enough, Neo.
Be right back.
I'll be back. And just now gonna do you in.
Yo, snack on that Thor, Bacchus. Damn. That was not even close. I definitely need magical protection at this point. So let's grab a Genji's for the cooldown as well. Yeah.
Clearly outmatched.
That's unfortunate. I didn't expect them to be right there. And Raijin is pretty much the only one who can kill me that fast at the moment because of my lack of magical protection.
Do your best.
Hopefully Bacchus doesn't take any more of my waves here, because I really need that XP if I am to deal with any carries. Alright. We're good. No, I was gonna take the portal.
Chase the enemy. Enemies incoming. Be careful. Always be prepared.
Tyr will TP. There's no way he doesn't. Actually, no, he doesn't have TP. Actually, no. I can almost get my starter, so I'm getting this shit first. Oh, we're winning this. I don't understand. Dude, no! Damn, I actually thought I was gonna be able to combo him. I'm just gonna go attack the Titan. Fuck this. I can't really poke it anymore. I was kind of hoping they were just gonna back off, but no. There's no way we're backing off. How could we? Dude, my ultimate in 1 second! Oh my god. my one into my ult would have killed off Thor. Also, I never got back in time to buy my shit, which I should have just done, but... Okay. I'll grab this one.
Time for some tea.
Yeah, fine, I'll do it myself moment, yeah.
Powerful
Except I couldn't. I couldn't do it myself. Also, I haven't tried the Gianna skin, but it looks really cool. I just don't think I like the voice pack. But it's a really cool skin. It very much has like a Shocker vibe from Spider-Man. Or like a comic version of Shocker. Not so much the live-action version.
On my way. Gold, this jungle needs to be watched.
Attack the Gold Fury! It's no big.
enemy spotted. Attack the Gold Fury.
Okay.
Here I come.
Oh.
Found my
Damn. No, he is un-CCable. He went out of CC so fast, it's actually insane. God damn it.
You're a powerful bender.
I'll be back.
Oh,
Just give me a minute. You might need.
I can't believe I didn't get tier in the end. He's so tanky, I don't do any damage to him. We're gonna end this fucking game. I don't even know what happened, bro. We killed 2 of them for free and we still lost that. Like, Tyr and Erlang literally just killed our whole team by themselves. Or something. I don't actually know what happened. I mean, Thor as well, I imagine, could probably kill at least one of our backliners. Damn. Oof. Then went for it. That was really close that he actually got that. Common team.
Stock up on necessity.
I should go and grab that left tower, just to weaken the Titan.
All right, group up. Try not to die. Do your best.
Can we just, you know, kill the thing that makes us win the game? Yeah? How's that, team? I don't know who deserved to win this game, but I feel like none of the teams deserve to win this game, but...
Be quiet. Be quiet.
The only thing I know about this game is that Bacchus shouldn't have been bitching out and stolen people's farm. That's about it. Don't steal people's farm. Be nicer, alright? People can be assholes, but if you ruin someone else's game, you know what? Spoiler alert, you're also ruining your own game, because you're in that same game. It's crazy, huh? How that works. Also, goddamn the regen damage. Oh no, dude, look at the Rama build. Um, oh man, I feel like he probably shouldn't have been in this MMR game. Oof, dude. Oof. This man has a bit of both worlds in this build that Rama probably shouldn't really be having. I see the value somewhat in it. Yeah, it could work. If that's the thing, I was about to say that too. Like, I feel like this isn't shit. I see what he's going for. It's just this isn't as good as most other builds you can run at the moment. To be honest, I can respect the you don't see the value in it. Well, for me, the value is, and I don't actually know if this works, but does the does this one proc on Rama's 1? No, actually, no, this is a different passive I was thinking of. No, I don't think this is good. You should have had the other one. I see Fail Not. I don't think Fail Not is complete shit on Rama, but I don't think it's that good. I feel like it's okay. But I think the only problem with this build, to be honest, is the Mannequin Hidden Blade. He should have just had the other one. I mean, it's not the only problem. I don't think Stormseeker is worth it either. Just to be, you know, just to throw that one out there. And the random crit in the end, also not really worth it. I think especially someone like Rama, you absolutely need to make use of Silver Branch. Silver Branch is way too good. Oh yeah, I can't see. My bad. He went for a crit last item. I can't really move this shit around, so... he had Mannequin Hidden Blade, AC, Stormseeker, Fail Not, Titan's Bane, and then he only had a Short Sword. So, you know, rank 2 item, excuse me, to all the crit items. So... yeah, Stormseeker without Silver Branch. He had Titans and Short Sword that you guys can't see on screen. He should have had Chins instead of Titans, and then Silver Branch instead of Short Sword. I think this build would have been just fine. It's either Chins or Exy, but I don't know. I don't know. I think the reason why I don't like Stormseeker is that it kind of takes the spot of Executioner, because my build wouldn't work either, because you wouldn't have any pen. I don't know. So we're run Ichival next patch. Yeah, I just hope it's not as good as Ichival was when it came out, because Ichival when it came out was so fucking strong. You literally could not box anything that had a better steroid than you, like Rama. If Ichival is as good as it was when it first released, Rama is going to be the best hunter once again. And I don't like that as a frontliner. Because Rama kills me really fast, and I don't like it. Though, that goes for a lot of the hunters at the moment anyway. Yeah, Bologna Ichibal's gonna go crazy. Maybe. Maybe. Yeah. Potentially. Well, I do have... I don't know. Destro is gonna rage at me if I go Gep, you know that, right? Yeah, no, I promise you to play Gep. I'll play Gep, but... Brother. I should have thought out my build. Can I pick for you, though? No, let me pick for you first, because I kind of want to see what I'm against. Let me put one condition on the Gep. I have to be against a physical.
Select your god.
Nico was fragging on it the other day. I'm sure the Gep, like, it can definitely be good, and especially if you are a good player. Like, I don't think the Rat Soul is good either, but I can still make it work against people who aren't super used to dealing with it. Because I don't want to play Gep and not being able to start with a Mystical Mail. I need the Mystical Mail for clear, I feel like. And I suppose just in case I am getting Mulan out. Damn, nobody's spending anything this game. Neo, are you planning on like giving me a build for it as well, or do you just want me to go with what I think would be good?
Pick your god.
The day has come.
Oh, my bad. Yeah, I mean, I think no matter what, Odin isn't bad here. It has use. And right now, they're just expecting it to be solo anyway, I would imagine. Bro, that is so boring. Don't be Cleano again. I can't be asked to deal with... Dude, it's gonna be so boring. Yeah, Gem Mystical and Breastplate. Okay, so the first three items was gonna be exactly the same in my case. Alright. Yeah, I should put one of the usual stuff. Makes sense. Tyr and Hercules. Okay. What is this? Someone other than me plays Rat? That's crazy. Yeah, I mean, the sad part for me here is I probably might have to delay the breastplate. I don't know, maybe I have to... Fuck, man, I need Contagion this game. I really do. I can't not get Contagion in this game. I might need to not go for a breastplate and wait with the Archdruid and then go for Pridwen so I get the CDR from that. I'll just do the Gip. Like, both Odin and Gep are gonna struggle against what they have, so I'll just do this. I promise to do the Gep, I'll do the Gep. The Gep here is just fine if we can hit a mid-late game stage where I can start rotating. Yeah, I love how we don't forget to swap when it's irrelevant. Yeah. Though, to be fair, we've only forgotten to do it once. Yeah, I was so distracted. At least it went okay. It went better than I expected. But yeah, not that it went good. Yeah, so it is going to be tier. I can't believe it's another tier. It's a different player too. We got King Coolness on tier now. Um, so I imagine it's tier, right? It has to be tier. The TTV is going to be support again, probably. Yeah, no, this is what I'm saying. I have to go Contagion this game, so I have to swap out the build. Yeah, it's one magical. I need to. I mean, just for the anti-healing too. They have 3 healers essentially. Not so much in, well, not healers per se, but Tyr and Hercules are practically self-healers, and I will be against one of them. So. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I'll just swap it out a bit, or yeah, I'll just have to not go for breastplate. It should be okay. I'll just be delaying my CDR with a single item, but having to delay it with a single item still sucks, because I need that CDR skip so badly.
Time building a snowman. You've got one right here. Me. Hey guys, look at my nose. I'm like a snowy unicorn. Oh, a snowy
A snowy corn. I feel like I need to go TP, because I might get pressured heavily in this one. This definitely feels like a beats game though, but I'm not gonna go beats. It ain't happening, Chief. But I might also get CC'd for days. We're fine. We'll do just fine. It's gonna be great. Hey Seagull, what's up, man? Hope you're having a good day. Yeah, we're just having fun today.
That is too bad.
You hit cap today? Damn. You're on the big 3,500? Ugh. Got something in my eye. The biggest? That's nice, man. Congrats. I'm still sitting in the 2700s, but at least I won both my games today. Which actually means I might be in the 2800s now. I'm not sure. I didn't look. And now, somehow, Neo talked me into playing Gep. So, yeah. This is my life at the moment.
That's too bad.
Yeah, it's true. It won't last for long, but at least you can take a picture now and tell everyone you're the best.
Okay.
Be gone.
You think you gonna just pass away like that? Your right tower is under attack.
Be gone.
Okay.
Never stop believing. Your middle tower is under attack.
I lost one creep. That's fine.
Be careful, right? Enemy missing. Okay.
But now I'll just have to chill. If they're missing, I'm not walking out. It's a matchup I really do not want to fall behind in. Against tier for the most part, but especially. Especially here.
Not again! Don't you eat that yellow snow! Okay, stop. I smell magic in the air. That yellow snow.
An ally has been slain. An enemy has been slain.
He does have a lead here, which is unfortunate. I had to see how much damage I could do. Not bad.
Your middle tower is under attack. Enemy ultimate now.
Be gone.
Your middle tower is under attack. Happy holidays, friend.
Be gone.
Never stop believing.
Be gone.
The heal is the worst part. This matchup wouldn't be as bad. Or I guess most warriors, it's not really as bad because you can generally outpoke them a bit, Skip.
Enemies incoming.
Compliments to the chef.
Damn, I rolled right into that. I was trying to juke the others. And the turret came by. And my ult was down. That's not good. On her's getting fed. And I lost my blue as well. Not looking too good in the sidelines here.
Your middle tower is under attack. Never stop believing.
Mystical Mill definitely did makes this more doable.
Snow Prince.
In route. Enemy missing. Attack middle lane.
That's bad. Probably have wards, I imagine.
Is it just me, or does it smell like carrot? Enemies incoming. Happy holidays, friend.
On my way.
Never stop believing.
Take left lane. Defend. In route. In route.
Hey, two girls. Hope you're having a nice day.
Be careful.
Never stop believing.
You're not again.
Enemy spotted. Retrieve my lane.
Okay.
Go away, Dutch. I don't like him being in my solo. You're here too often. This includes the last game.
Happy holidays, friend.
Are we really surrendering, though? Are we? I think we have a chance. I didn't even have a chance to even vote, actually.
My body is ready.
Yeah, no shot they're fixing. I don't really think it's completely over yet. Right? Like, our late game is pretty good. I would argue theirs is better, but... No, let me make it.
Ultimate is down.
I lost a full wave for that.
Magic in the air.
Unfortunately. Not worth.
That yellow snow. Never stop believing. Don't you eat that yellow snow.
I have no reason to rotate for this. If they just don't do anything in mid, just waste Tyr's time.
Structure is under attack. Your middle tower is under attack. An enemy has been slain. An enemy has been slain.
Looks like that was a very good Odin ult. From what I could see. I'm chilling here, because there is an on her around. I'll be losing a wave here, but I'll take the trade. Alright. Redwin. And I'll upgrade my TP here as well. Let's do it. I should have got my active, but that's fine. I can wait with it.
In the left jungle.
Question is, did he do my blue? He didn't. How nice. How nice. No, I missed.
Enemy missing right.
In blue flame. Ultimate is
Throws though.
okay. Okay.
On my way. Attack. Don't you eat that yellow snow.
Can we,
Ally has been slain. I was very close to becoming a puddle. An enemy has been slain. Your middle tower is under attack. My body is ready. Okay, so maybe a little sugar on the meat. There's a meat that's been tenderized. Compliment to the chef.
we're doing the thing, team. I'm gonna go all the way back home now.
Don't you eat that yellow snow.
It's a fake lobster. Oh no. How could you do this, fake lobster? How could you be fake? No, it is the real one. It's crazy, huh?
Happy holidays, friend.
It's pretty crazy how it's the actual lobster man.
You think you can just pass away like that?
And we definitely need some more warts in the map again.
It's harder to see without snow prints.
Go away, King Cool. I need farm. I don't want to dance with you. Except I really do want to dance with you. Oh, he's dead.
Ally has been slain.
Defend gold 3.
Blaze up our teleporter. The enemy team has destroyed the pyramid. An enemy
I would love to help them out, but there's no word.
Enemy missing.
Let's just get this. Go, mystical male. Great. Oh no, I can't make it in time. I'm pretty sure that this is a fact, and it was even in the Bible as well. If you stay positive and simply just be nice, you will automatically win by the power of friendship and love. So if we do that, I'm sure it'll be fine. It'll be great. Wasn't that Contagion? Probably was, yeah. I'm on my team. I'm on my way.
The show must go on.
enemy missing.
I need so little XP for this, but let's see.
Is it just me or does it smell
Let's
like
get a real quick Sentry and a Raven Ward. Oops. Yeah, it's just like anime. Just make your smite game an anime.
any time, friend?
Just make every smite game an anime and you will win, pretty much. By the power of friendship and just for some reason a laser beam, just win. There you go. Easy. Yeah. Yeah, I've gotten some good ults, Neo, so I got a lot of damage off.
Careful, middle. Enemy missing.
I smell magic in the air. That yellow snow. Ally has been slain.
Check it.
Double kill. Triple kill. Compliments to the chef.
There's two on me. You can't blame me for dying back there. Shut the fuck up.
That yellow snow. Towers under attack.
Who's gonna use his one? Dude, fuck, he's got so many disease. Get the fuck out of here, dude. How is he doing it? He's got so much goddamn shit. I'm not even gonna get this either. I'm going away. I don't like this vacation. Damn. I should have had on her though. Alright. Now I get more damage. If we have good vision, all I need is a good blink ult. And we're Gucci. Then we're Gucci. Well, now I don't have blink. But I had to be safe. Because if Finra jumps me and ults me, I'm probably still dead. Tower? Good job, Tower. I always believed in you, my friend. Well, that's underneath. I couldn't have blocked much more. Yeah, I'll do Spirit Row Blast.
My body is ready. Don't you eat that yellow snow.
Yeah. The sad part in this game is unfortunately just a big ADC diff. I mean, I guess kind of mid as well. I don't understand the argument of I banned Artio. Artio isn't that good. Why would you ban her in the first place? I mean, she definitely is good. I don't want to say that, but she like ban worthy over so many other things? I don't really think so. I don't know about that. Also, they... Oh. Okay. Well, couldn't have done anything about that. We have too many people are like, I suppose I should carry. I mean, we have too many people just getting hit by Herc's combo. You can't. Well, whatever.
Wait for me.
I don't understand the argument against the like being there, bro. If you're a Raiden and you get hit by Herc's too, you're out of position, brother. There's nothing else to it. It's fine. Like, you fucked up. It doesn't matter. I don't understand the big argument for that. Also, actually, which one do you guys think is best, Glorious or Reverend? Yeah, Medusa, Chang, and Mulan, Maman, but no one plays her anyway. Lancelot is definitely someone that people don't play a whole lot in the EU, it seems. Yeah, he's just. I mean, I get it. He's annoyed. You know, we all know how it feels to be annoyed, and like a slight few seconds tilt. But at least if you do that, you gotta use some kind of logical argument. Tanking the tower wasn't it, brother. You were stunned by a pull into a 1 by Herc, and like that ain't changing. Like, you were still stunned. You were gonna die just a second later, if anything. That was me being out of position. They outplayed me. They both... Chan got 2'd my ult, and on her just jumped. So, I just got outplayed. It would've been big ult if it hit, obviously, but... Uh oh. That's unfortunate. We still have the Odin ult for the Titan defense. Might be nice. Nah, unfortunate. We tried. Yeah. You cannot blame that solely on... The thing is, this man thinks Chanka is such a big problem that he first picked Raiden and let them pick the Chanka instead. He could have just picked the Chang'e if he doesn't want to deal with it. I do that shit with Mulan all the fucking time. If I have something else I want to ban, but I really don't want to meet a specific god, I either ban it or I pick it, so I don't have to deal with it. It's literally that simple. Yeah, the Gep did good. Yeah, it went pretty well with the Gep. They went pretty good. But that's the thing. I want to say it again. I think the Gep is great if you get through the early game. Problem with the Gep is the early laning phase, because you're literally just giving up every single buff. Like, you're very prone to getting invaded, all of that stuff. Because you just don't have good jungle clear. That's my main problem with Gep. But I think Gep is super fun to play. Like, I love playing Gep. And it pretty much went as well as it could have, I think. I had fun. No regrets. Yeah, I mean, Dutch and Chang'e is obviously really good, so But I can't believe Raijin kept whining about it. How's the patch? Yeah, it's tomorrow. So far, nothing. But I will be streaming tomorrow as well, so no worries there. God damn, it's kind of hot today. Why is it so hot right now? It's fucking 11. Alright. Yes, that was the honor. He was the honor in my last game. No, Acronoxos. Why? Still don't know how to say his name. Acronos. Just Acronos, I guess. I keep wanting to put the X on it too. Well, shit. Now I have to wait 5 minutes. Yeah, it was destroying the poor Neath. That was, unfortunately, a lot of soloing happening in duo. It's fine though. I mean, I get it. It's a very tough matchup for Neath. That she shouldn't be winning, but if you get Medusa open, you should play it in solo. You think it's that good in solo too? It doesn't necessarily surprise me, I guess, but you know, play 3 times in solo, 1 every game. Yeah, I mean, she's definitely good, and I think she brings the same thing to the table as you do as a solo laner, just because of her ultimate. You still have, like, the carry kill potential that I think you need. I think the most important thing coming out of solo is that you gotta be able to kill a carry. Or somehow keep them busy, or something like that. I think Medusa definitely fills that role pretty well, so I can see it. That's also why I think Apollo is a decent solo, for the same reason, because he could just hold on to a carry, but it's not as, you know, reliable. You might just die. Medusa ult definitely does the job. They're either forced to Aegis it or something like that, or just take the damage. It kind of has like 3 levels. Level 1 is Aegis, and you waste their Aegis. Level 2 is hitting them, but they still turn around, so you just do the damage. Level 3 is they also get stunned, and they take the full blood of the full ult. That's, yeah. So it's just such a good team for ultimate. So you're saying I should pick Cupid. I see how it is. I'll go for the Cupid ultimate. I have healing, I have attack speed. It's great. Yeah, you can get kind of picked by other things as Apollo. I think Apollo's clear is probably his main problem. Apollo's clear is just not that great, but he's also one of the better. I think I've said it before. The main thing that Apollo is really bad against is something that has heavy poke. Otherwise, he's just fine. If he's against something like a Bellona, in lane specifically, or tier or something like that, that needs to get close to do something, he's pretty good. Yeah, with Bull just solo lane as much as can be won. Pretty much. Yeah, through the wave. For sure. I think Apollo's quite good into anything that needs to get really close. Which is why I picked Tsukuyomi when you picked it last time. So I can just throw shit at you the whole time, because Apollo does not do well if he can't, like, get close enough to you. You should play Kama and Apollo. Yeah, Kama, exactly, perfect. Just throw shit at him from a distance and Apollo is gonna struggle real bad. Because he cannot do the same thing. He's got a pretty short ranged ability. Pretty much only covers the wave. If you can stay further away and make sure that he doesn't get close to the wave, you can pretty much win. I don't know, I think my main problem with running something like Medusa in solo is that she's pretty easy to gank. Like, she definitely does have turnaround potential with her burst, but she has a blockable dash. I think it depends on what solo matchup you have. But I definitely get you. Like, in a straight 1v1 against most soloers, she will definitely win. Yeah, that's true. She's pretty good to turn around with. Couldn't the same thing be said for Skadi though? I also think Skadi has that same kind of potential. Not in the same way as Medusa, but I guess main problem with Skadi is that she actually just doesn't have a whole lot of mobility, especially in the early game. It's time for the Artemis solo to come through. A lot of solos cannot deal with the early poke that Artemis has. Just play Artemis. No, that's a joke. Artemis is gonna get clapped at level 2. But yeah, looking at all the ADCs for solo, Medusa is probably the best. I would argue Heimdall is number 2, then Ullr, and then Apollo. Or like Ullr Apollo are kind of on the same vein. I think they can definitely work, for sure. Marty is low-key OP. I can kind of see it. And I think my main problem with him is that you can so easily just run him down in the early stages of the game because he relies on scaling. That's my problem with it. You can so easily run him down, you force his ult, and then suddenly he becomes the easiest gank in the world. I think that's my main problem with him. I don't personally see him as being that good. I can definitely see him work in solo more than most, because you can practically you can clear from tower line, but I guess I'm thinking like you would have to give up all the buffs. Like you would never really get any clear. I feel like that's kind of losing the lane pretty badly if you have to give up everything. Yes, poke is super OP. Yeah, the thing is, I might not have just met a good one. At least so far, I haven't met a good one to really say anything. I feel like in my mind, how it would play out, I would just kind of destroy him. Yeah, but doesn't Soul Leader kind of get a hard counter by something like Contagion? We almost had the same team as before. Just no Akronos. Are we banning the Changa team? Can we handle her? I kind of want to ban her because she's really annoying as a frontline. She always twos my big stuff. Yeah, I'll ban it. I don't actually want to deal with it. Not to mention, if Dutch is still playing, I don't want him to play it either. Yeah, still heal out because you're Jordan Soul Leader anyway. Yeah. I would definitely be interested in seeing it, for sure. I don't like Marty myself that much, so I don't think I'll play it, but I'll be down to see it. Yeah, it's very boring, so it's understandable. Yeah, I don't know if I like him. That's the weird part, because I just haven't really played him. I have barely even touched the god. Like, what do I even have? Yeah, I mean, I literally only mastered him. That's pretty much it. I mastered him so I could use him in ranked, which I don't believe is even a thing anymore. But no. Damn. What am I playing? Man, I'm boring today. I'll do Mulan. I'll play one last, just for the nerfs. I'll play her once before she gets nerfed. That'll be it. I'll just do one game with Mulan. And there's the Pele. Is it gonna be a red soul? What is this? Of course. It was too good to be true. Now Coquelin is gonna ruin my face. I don't like Coquelin. He's so boring to be against. Anything but him, please. I do wonder if the Mulan change will change anything. If anything, I guess she'll be nerfed in the sense that other gods might be better because of builds, but I don't think the nerfs are changing her. Maybe the meta will. Because if Ichiban is gonna be really good, Bellona and Osiris will probably just dominate again. Oh yeah, there's also King Arthur might be really good because of all his items getting buffed. What is this? Dutch on Sylvanas? Oh, he didn't get mid. You've been stacked on? You think they have a really stacked team? Because I would agree with you. It's because student is so fucking high. Yeah. I guess we hit the big league, I guess. Yeah, I mean, Student got stupid high MMR compared to, I mean, even me in this one. Because I'm definitely only in the 27s, right? And he's in what? He's almost capped. Good lord, it's so warm. It's been raining almost all day, then the sun came out for a few hours, and now it's just incredibly disgusting in the air. It's so, what is it called? Humid?
What I lack in muscle mass, I make up for with inner strength and courage.
Yeah, it's disgusting humid. Because it's not hot, it's just, I feel like I'm in a rainforest. Yeah. Is my crashing again? Can you make it in time while we're pausing, Neo?
I've never seen such craftsmanship.
Never know how long this takes. That's no, yeah, no problem. Don't worry about it. Damn. What have the games been today? Have I been... Is this the first tryhard game? No, not really. I played Hercules in one game. But honestly, that's the game that went the worst so far, so... The 3 games where I picked weird shit has been the best games. Actually, no, that's... No, that's not true. The Herc game we not actually ended up winning, so never mind. I won my first 2 games. I played Rat, Herc, then Gib. Let's see how this goes. Though to be fair, I did kind of fuck up in the Herc game. And Mulan lately haven't been going very well, because everyone is expecting it, and everyone knows how easy she is to take advantage of in the early game. And for some reason, it just doesn't go very well. So, we'll see how this goes. I gotta pick the spice. I gotta pick the stuff people aren't used to get an edge. Everyone knows how to deal with Mulan at this point. She's still annoying though, and hard to deal with.
Jayo! This will be a battle to remember.
Minions have
Wait, we have an Odin jungle? Ooh. I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, I believe in my teammates. I have every single little faith that it will go fantastic. Because it will. 100%. Oh man. Yeah, I don't know why I even tried. It's Coquelin. I shouldn't even have tried. Look, all that gold go to waste. Jesus, that man has such long cooldowns. It's actually insane. I don't believe. I can't believe. I expected that jump like 3 seconds earlier. Give me a little 4. Thank you. Can't believe I missed. But at least that gives me more reasons back.
Amazing. You made this from base iron? You can't avoid my blade. It's all in the stance.
Enemy spotted. Be careful, right?
My aim is deadly. You can't avoid my blade. Thrust. All in the stance.
My lack of mana is making this a bit rough.
Thrust.
Just gonna keep leveling my shit. Classic. I'm so tired of mid laners ganking my solo lane today. And my mid laners isn't doing it. It's only been me. It was Dutch before, literally 2 games in a row, and now it's fucking other. God damn it. Mid laners always gang solo? Not in my games. At least not my mid laners. I'll tell you that much. It's never my mid laners. I can, like... Man, it's just after getting blue as well. Fucking hell. I remember one time, recently, only, that my mid has ganked. But that's it.
Enemy missing left. Cancel that.
An ally has been slain.
You can't avoid my blade. The wrath of the Empire of China. All in the stance.
God damn, I hate that god so much. I need to level up my 3. Which it might be... now? Maybe?
Thrust.
I can't tell if it is or not. Okay, it is. Thank God.
Mamma mia, not again! Okay. Your left tower is under attack.
Enemy missing left.
Your middle tower is under attack.
It's all in the stance.
Okay. Yeah, it sucks when you see the jungle map. You're like, yeah, hell yeah, I'm free. I can do whatever I want. Hello, Myth. That's great. It happens with support sometimes as well. Very rarely, but the support does do that sometimes too. I missed the fucking wall. I don't think it would have saved me, but... Dude, I hate Coquelin so much. With an actual passion. I hate that god. He can suck my balls. Should have banned it. I always ban it for a reason. And the reason is right there. He sucks.
You can't avoid my blade. It's all in the stance.
Mwah! Compliments to the chef.
I think that's probably one thing I really look forward to the next patch. Coquelin won't be that good anymore. He's probably still gonna be just fine, but he's not gonna be that good.
Passed away like that?
Damn, we're dying a lot.
Your middle tower is under attack. Your right tower is under attack.
Yeah, I'm just not gonna walk up anymore.
Enemy missing middle.
Yeah, no, I think a big part of why I hate dealing with Coquelin is that I'm bad at dealing with Coquelin. I was still in range for that.
Maybe
God damn, dude. Everyone is dying. It's not looking too hot. I also do not know why we went Odin jungle. I'm not gonna lie. Is it the main problem? I don't know, but Odin jungle is so bad. Comparatively. At least if he's gonna go Odin jungle, he needs to let me know. Then I can play an assassin or something. To go away. Alright. At least a decent trade, but...
Attack left lane.
Enemy ultimate down.
Enemy missing middle.
Alright, now we even on annoying ganks out of nowhere. Who isn't the jungler? I could go Contagion, but I'm gonna go Breastplate here. I'll just want to get that cooldown as fast as I can. Actually, never mind. I'm stupid. That is the jungler. I've already forgot Odin was the jungler. Eh. Bad. I need to hit my 1 or my 3. And my 1, I guess. But he's always gonna jump it.
Enemy missing left.
Don't know where he is. There he is.
My aim is deadly.
I don't know why I have so much trouble hitting my 3 here.
All in the stance.
See? My team hates each other already. Chill team, alright? It's fine. People are tilting. Just need to untilt. Like, it's not looking good, but it definitely is, like, it's not over.
Enemy missing left.
He must have choking on the meat.
Enemies incoming middle.
Yeah.
Ally has been slain.
I knew he was rotating, I just couldn't do anything about it.
You're not again.
You can't avoid my blade.
Took it on. You think you can just pass away like that?
It's 4K. I still don't think we should surrender yet, to be honest. If I have to be completely honest, I do not think this is a surrender game just yet. Not yet.
You can't avoid my blade.
Okay. Maybe a little soft did hurt some. What?
I did this for my country.
This is overcooked.
Damn.
Your left tower.
I don't know. I'll do a Glad Shield.
Enemy ultimate down.
I don't know what type of game this is, to be honest. I might do Thorns. No, probably Sprint because of on her. And the route would be nice for X-Shell and... Yeah, actually, yeah, I'll do Sprint. I'll grab Sprint. I am sad I didn't get Rat, though.
An ally has been slain. Your left tower. Your right tower is under attack. Your right
No! I'll grab some words.
Your left tower is under attack.
Okay.
Damn. The wombo combo. Yeah, never mind.
That was a rough food fight.
We can probably just get out of this one. Oh no. Yeah, let's get out. This is just exactly what I mean. If I try hard pick, it never goes well. I just gotta go with the flow, follow my stomach, and not pick try harding, because it never goes well anymore. We tried. We just tried. Was it actually like a full team? I don't even know. Was it actually like a Smite League team? Back when EU existed? Pretty much. Yeah. Yeah, no, I definitely think the Odin jungle was bad. Like, Odin already as a god that kind of struggles with what he has. He's got one really strong tool. That's his ultimate. The problem is, as a jungler, you just don't really have any way of closing the distance in a good way. Your jump is so slow, anyone is going to be able to almost just walk away from it. You have to somehow walk up behind them, and then even then, you might still miss your 3. He's just kind of an unreliable jungler. He barely even works as a solo or a support. So, I can't recommend. The thing is, okay, if you want to do Odin jungle, fair enough. I don't think it's straight up bad, but Odin is a kind of jungler you have to build around. And we didn't exactly do that with this team comp. If you want to do Odin jungle, you need something in mid that can support his lack of initiation. Like, if you have a Thor or a Rad or even a Loki or whatever the fuck you want to name it, they all have ways of closing the distance in a really fast way that can also just at least poke very, very hard. Odin has his 3, and then you're kind of forced to jump in if you want to do any more damage. It just doesn't work as well in the jungle. It just doesn't. like bird bomb into something like if you have a mid that can set up, like let's say like an Acne or something. Acne can, bomb, stun. If the stun lands, you go all in. If not, whatever. That type of thing. You can absolutely do a Acne stun into a Odin 3 into a bird bomb. That would be fine. But you just don't have any setup with a Merlin. Like what's Merlin gonna do? If you're lucky, you get maybe like the Vortex. You swoop them up or something, but you can't rely on that. Or even an ADC mid. You could definitely do it with an ADC mid. If you have like a Uller, Axe into Odin 3 as well could also work, or the other way around.
My fists have a message for you.
Hey, Hadrad, thank you so much for the sub, man. I really appreciate it. Boop. Yeah, we'll boop some people. Hopefully in the next one. What's the MMR at? Kind of etching on the 2700s now, with 2 losses now. Oh shit. Neo, we're not in we're not in queue together anymore. Unless you're done. You might be done, but I completely forgot. I was like, wait, where's Neo? I looked up. Did we just... Yeah, we're not in queue. Well, I was. Apparently. I didn't even realize. We've been out of parties so long, I didn't even realize that I just auto-queue. Oh, you'll dodge? Fair enough. Yeah, I'm banging Cocoolin. I don't want to deal with it, man. Too tight anyways, fair enough. No worries. I also imagine this will be the last one. Yeah, I didn't stream yesterday because I had to get up early for a doctor's appointment, so I am pretty tired. I can already feel it. My eyes are heavy. More than usual, because usually I'm a bit of a, I guess, be up a little too late kind of person. Even though it's a bad idea. I need to think about what I want to play, though. Wait, why am I support when I am here? Okay. Thank you. I don't know why... Why didn't I get my role when I was top? Did I accidentally press on his? Maybe I accidentally swapped. Any chance we get these streams earlier in the day? Yeah, probably. Once the renovation is done. The reason why I started doing it only after I walked my dog is because when I had to walk my dog, as I did before on stream, it would take so long because I had to, usually when I walk my dog, it's kind of been like a thing for me a while. I generally have to go to the bathroom afterwards because going up and down and then taking a walk usually gets my system going, I guess. And so, having to walk my dog and then go to the bathroom when the bathroom is all the way fucking outside, it takes a long fucking time. So the break ended up being way longer than I ever wanted it to be. So, at least with the renovation, it should be a bit quicker taking breaks and all that. I'll do a Cerberus game. I'm feeling the doggo. And he is pretty good here too, for stealing some healing. No, they have double ADC, I didn't realize. Not that it's bad, but I could have went Vamana. Vamana would have been great. Or even Bellona. But at the same time, picking Vamana or Bellona when I don't know what I'm against is definitely a risk. But yeah, as I was saying, I think the biggest problem for me streaming a bit earlier is because I have a dog. And he kind of needs to go out at a specific time. And I would have to, I guess, either delay that or even push it much earlier for it to make sense. Because in the time room when I stream, I prefer to just, stream all the way through with no breaks. And there unfortunately have to be a dog walk in there somewhere. If it has to be earlier than this. Unless I do that. Somehow, I don't know. I mean, I probably could. I definitely could somehow time it so that I do his walk before the stream and just again after the stream. It's not a big deal. It's just I'm very systematic. And changing my system after years would be so weird for me, but it definitely could be done. It definitely could. Also, Nike? Nike? I guess I have to go erosion this game. Guess I'll do that like third item. Or something like that. I think another reason why I started doing it a bit later is because it seems to be where most people watch. So, then most people seem to step in around 10 or 11. And I assume it's also because, you know, maybe NA folks coming in, or maybe it's the EU folks coming home from work, or whatever the case may be. It just seems to be the case that more people watch at this time. It might also just be because it's when people have gotten used to me streaming. So I kind of have almost like a specific time frame when I stream now, which I usually didn't have.
I wanna play! Can we play? Please.
Yeah, I've been trying to go to sleep earlier and ended up missing most streams because of it. Yeah. Yeah, I get you. Like, realistically for me, the perfect time frame for me to stream would probably also be right after dinner. Which would be probably around, I don't know, like 6:30 or 7. But suddenly that would also require me to have a specific schedule when I eat, or like specific time when I eat. Right now it's just kind of whatever. But I'll probably try out more stuff once the renovation is done. Right now I've changed stuff because of the renovation. We'll see what happens once it's done. Because right now there's just kind of a lack of freedom in terms of how much... Like, I can't just go pee in the middle of the stream because that's just going to take like 10 to 15 minutes because I have to go all the way down. It takes such a long time to go down. And then sometimes the bathrooms are also just taken, so I have to wait. It's a mess. Getting water back in my apartment is gonna just save me so much time. I'm wasting so much time doing nothing because of it. It sucks. It truly just sucks. And hopefully it will be fixed this week. At the absolute latest next week. And I only assume that if there might be some delays, which it seems there might be, then maybe next week. But Jesus Christ, I hope it's this week. It better be this week. I need it to be.
Middle.
Bye. Double kill. Welcome.
I'll be your best friend.
Yeah, I got the thing, but at what cost?
Enemies in left lane.
I'll be safe. I'll be goodbye and go home. Oh, it's a Chang'e jungle. It is. Yeah, this is definitely a just chill. Just chill game.
Enemy ultimate down. Your left. Penny.
I'm a good watchdog. I'm a good boy. That's too bad. Oh, trees! An enemy has been slain.
I can't believe Bluestone finished me off. Jesus Christ, Bluestone. Holy fuck. That also reached me. Very fucking unexpected. I was gonna go back in. I just did it too early, I guess, because her ult still just reached out that far. Damn, that really sucks. That's definitely one of the most unnecessary deaths that I could have had here. I'll grab my blue in a second. I screwed that one up.
Not again. Okay. Better than one. Oh, trees!
I absolutely just suck ass.
Your right tower is under attack. No, your middle tower is under attack.
Hmm.
Enemy ultimate down.
Save yourself! Save yourself!
Completed.
Damn, I went for the snipe.
Be right back.
I'm playing bad this game. I've had kill potential more than once now.
Enemy has been slain.
And before that kill even became a thing, or close enough to an actual kill, I just screwed up.
Think you gonna just pass away like that? Wow! You must have choken on me. Will this make me look like a handsome bumper?
That wasn't one of them though. There's no kill potential there. But I'm glad he stayed, because this will give me some kind of pressure in lane. Well, not pressure, but like a presence, I guess is a better word. This way I can just get some buffs.
have the nose of a bloodhound. An enemy has been slain.
No any hunters. Okay.
That was a salty anchovy. Your middle tower is under attack.
I'll take an ult for an ult.
Okay, so
Your middle tower is under attack.
Um. Do I have a build for this god? Not really. Yeah, I'll just go Mystical Mail. I'm wasting too much time here. Probably just what fits best, so I can be aggressive.
an ally has been slain.
That is pathetic.
Quiet. Get him, Chewie!
Tower is under attack.
Damn.
Get him, Chewie!
Should have just used my one earlier.
Enemies in left lane.
I'm a good watchdog. I'm a good boy. Enemy spotted! You just got served. Some delicious pasta, huh?
I don't know why we would surrender this. I don't know why student is so tilted. Just chill, man. Also, that was 4 people.
An enemy has been slain.
Your left tower is under attack.
Get him, Chewie!
Yeah, the Cerberus isn't going too well.
You think you can adjust the pasta way like that?
They're just kind of controlling the map. I just got 4-man ganked.
Your middle tower is under attack. Your middle tower has been destroyed.
He must have knocked on the meatball.
Your middle tower is under attack.
Oh, trees! Fire forget it! Fire forget it!
Hear me roar! No, I see there.
Finally. I screwed up my 2, then at least I didn't fuck up my 1 again. Time to get erosion, I guess.
Okay, so maybe
Yeah, the Changa being open again. I didn't want to ban it this time because I got the Cocolan out. I'd rather deal with Changa any day than Cocolan. I can't stand that god. I really can't.
you think you can just pass away like that? Get him, Slain and aiming. Bravo.
Your right tower is
Unfortunate. Didn't have my one charged, so I couldn't use that first.
An enemy has been slain.
No, I'm bad. Alright. He outplayed me on that one.
Wash 'em!
Save yourself.
Oh, enemy missing! There, be careful.
An ally has been slain.
We're definitely going a bit deep, considering how far behind we've been.
Your team has destroyed a right enemy tower. You have destroyed the pyramids.
Yeah, we should definitely get some more wars on the right side of the map. Which we did, I guess.
Choking on the meatball. Enemy has been slain.
Damage. Send word back home.
You really something.
I can't believe my one hit him, but he didn't die to it. That sucks, man. I am bad. Actually, what is I don't want to do Arch Druid, but I need to wait with that.
Catch up.
I might do Void tomorrow for this one. It wouldn't be bad to have. We'll have 3 magicals.
Enemy spotted.
On my way. I'll attack the fire giant.
At least we got one, I suppose.
Will this make me look like a handsome pupper?
Just actual duo lane is just arena. Pretty sure that's just an arena disguised over there.
Get him, Dewey! I'm a good watchdog. I'm a good boy. Dewey is upset with you. Save yourself. Get him, Dewey! I just wanted to keep it. It would have made a great friend. Okay, some. That's maybe a little Fighting is bad. That's not what best friends do. Okay. Has destroyed the pyramid. Your structure is under attack. An enemy has been slain. An ally has been slain.
Damn.
Enemy ultimate down.
The second I started TPing away, I saw him getting initiated on and left. I just left him to die. Because I saw him getting doved and right, and I was like, alright, I'm coming. And the dog's dreaming, in case you're hearing squeaking.
Ultimate is down. No problem.
Enemies at the fire giant.
Attack the gold fury.
Oh, trees! That was something unlucky.
I really don't know why we're trying to fight. I'm just trying to get 20, to be honest.
The treasure meat has been tenderized. It's too bad. Towers under attack. Your middle tower
This fucking thing.
Your middle phoenix has been destroyed. Your titan is under attack. An enemy has been slain.
Damn. But yeah, that's unfortunate. I mean, how many was this? 3 of them on the same team again? So they have like 3 people on comms and ranked. It is definitely tough. And I don't know why a student was so tilted this game. It's just like he practically just gives up and wants to surrender the whole time. When we still have a pretty clear chance of winning. I don't understand. He was upset pretty much yesterday. Okay, I'll do another one because it's low Q. But he was upset with me for... Well, it was accidentally, but surrendering early, like last time I streamed. I did screw up my lane. I could have played this much better. So, big sad on my part there. I do have a small headache, so this will absolutely be my last game. But who believes me when I say that anymore? For my own sake, this should be my last game. Did I get baby gamed? Well, this was a mistake. Maybe nobody else queued. Maybe that was just the last queue for everyone. Yeah, I got babied. Shit, man. All because I lost the game. Now I'm baby MMR again. All the way back down to 2600. Alright, I need to grab a win then. What am I playing then?
Your God.
Maybe it's time to pull out the X-Shell. What do I not want to deal with when I play X-Shell? Actually, I'll try Medusa instead, in case she is, for some reason. I'll get the Alcon out. No, he banned Medusa. But I think I might do an ADC, to be honest. Maybe I'll do an ADC. I don't know if I could carry on Apollo though, but Apollo is probably someone I could carry with, even if my team is getting clapped, just for the split push potential.
Pick your
Searcher, huh? Well, that's a boring pick. Seagull, I will let you choose. An ADC, probably Apollo, or X-Shell. What do you think would be best into Searcher? Damn, Seagull have betrayed me. I don't think I can ever really recover, to be honest. Now I'm just here. But it's fine. Searcher and Cthulhu, huh? I think this is an attack speed chintz build game. Nesha is annoying though. Don't go Chronos. I didn't sign up for this. Don't go Chronos. Don't do it. What the fuck are we doing in this game? Are we serious? I guess we're serious. Yeah, X-Shell would have cooked. Yeah, I'm thinking in the same vein that if he ever catches up to me, I can't really... I don't know, I'll just get so poked. I'm mainly thinking in the pre-level 10-ish. Like, pre-level 10, he would just kind of destroy me. But I would... There's definitely going to be a transition phase where X-Shell would start winning that matchup. But I'm not sure. I think you're right. I think... That's also why I mentioned both, because I want to play both. I think both Apollo and X-Shell are pretty good into Searcher. That being said, this might not even be Searcher. It could still be Cthulhu, but I'm expecting Searcher. And I do not know what the fuck happened with our comp, but if they don't have every single anti-attack speed, like, item in the game, it's game over for us, man. We're done. We have 3 ADCs. Dude, why did our jungle pick? Why did he pick Ruler? But he's probably thinking, oh my god, why did my solo pick Apollo? The Searcher was my Kuzenbo last game, I believe. But that's the only name I recognize. Alright. I feel like I regret queuing for another one, to be honest. Mistakes might have been made. I'm tired, and I have a headache. It's not a good idea, guys. This is why you should be the better part of me and just stop me. I think I'll do Mannequin this game. Yeah, I'll do Mannequin. The big question here is, I could start out with a Stormseeker and just get it stacking real fast. But at the same time, I don't think it's that good. So I will not do that. And simply just start with an Aussie, as I should. I'm gonna need beads for the Neja, obviously Golden Shard.
No, call me MVP.
At least in this game, it seems like people are playing to have fun. I do like that part. That's nice. I can appreciate that.
Attack.
Yeah. I kind of screwed up on that one. It wasn't horrible, but that could have been much better. I could have had the kill on him. I actually just tried to hit level 3. If I got the miss there, that would have been nice. Yeah, I'll just take miss.
That is rather sad.
I suck. I'm too tired for this. I'm too fucking tired for this. I missed and then autoed him like a true Apollo god.
Be careful.
Man, this lane was mine and I threw it away twice. This is why you don't queue after midnight. I made a rule and I broke it. So I deserve this punishment. Yeah, he's got a pretty significant XP lead here. Yeah, Surtur's shitty-ass long-ranged stun needs to fuck off. And he's got such a big lead now. This man is level 5. I screwed up. Again. This fucking thing also hurts. Everything hurts. Yeah, I fucking knew it. Oldest trick in the book. Alright. I'm going home. I can still pick it up in this lane, but I at least need to finish RC. Because I don't do enough damage to him now. And also, what the fuck is happening in every other lane? This is not looking good, team. It's really not. And I absolutely need my next blue. But it's gonna be tough now that he has... Like, his blue is completely out of sync with mine, so he has every reason to just invade mine.
Ultimate is ready. Be careful, middle.
Alright, I've done my job. I pressured him enough. He shouldn't be able to get my blue this time.
Apologies. Careful left. On my way. Your right tower is under attack. Enemy ultimate down. Enemy missing right.
I feel like we should be going in on this. I probably should have probably called that I was, though. Why are you walling off yourself, buddy?
An enemy has been slain.
At least it's something, but... I did screw up on that one, but I also expected we were gonna actually go in. That's my bad. My awareness is not there right now. But it's fine. I actually did get my blue, and then I decided to take it off myself. Smart.
Your middle tower is under attack.
These fucking minions are so tanky.
Retreat.
Alright. No more useless poking. That was just stupid. Get him, tower, please. Oh my god. Well, if I had mana, that wouldn't have happened, and I would have mana if I didn't decide to uselessly try to poke him for no reason.
You're not again. Attack left. On my way.
menial.
Cancel that. Attack fire giant.
Your right tower is
It's also crazy how mana hungry Apollo is. I feel like he shouldn't be. How the fuck are you still catching up to me, huh? God damn it. Yeah, this is not going too well. He's so tanky, I can't deal with him anymore. Mainly because I'm still falling behind. It's rough. Alright, we got a full feed game. It's been a while. I'm feeding my brains out in this one. I can't believe how much this game could have been in my hands if I had gotten the level 2 kill. But I'll just sit at the tower now. No more trying to poke him a little bit. It's completely useless. He just heals anyway. Jesus Christ, man. I mean, those minions as well, but still.
Retreat right way. Retreat. Enemy spotted. Enemy ultimate down. Ultimate is down.
I might just let my tower go. That actually might be the best choice here.
I'll defend middle lane.
Compliments to the chef.
Your left tower has been destroyed.
Your right tower is under attack. Enemy missing left. Yeah. Okay. Good game.
Doubt we can actually kill him unless we have Ra with us.
Quiet.
Enemy missing middle. Careful left.
That'll up this performance.
Alright, if they can blow his ult, I can follow him after the ult. Alright.
Been a slang.
Never mind.
Good luck.
That is rather sad.
An ally has been slain. Okay.
We can definitely win. We have a weird fucking comp, but I mean... I believe. Just gets my beats for free. I hate Nezha. The mind games on Nezha is just
Cancel that.
annoying. Really, really annoying.
On my way.
Your right tower is under attack. Enemy spotted. Your right tower has been destroyed. Compliments to the chef. Enemy missing left. Be careful middle.
I'm grabbing some wards for him.
Be careful. Ultimate is down.
I called it so many times. Please don't die.
Think you can just pass away like that?
They're all dead.
Enemy missing left.
Now we can at least secure our stuff.
No problem. Attack fire giant.
Keep an eye out, eh?
Ultimate is ready. Enemy missing right.
That sucks. Kind of premature beats as well.
Ultimate is down. Retreat. Under attack. Ultimate is down. Destroy. Ultimate is ready.
At least I'm starting to do a pretty good amount of damage to Surtur. I really don't want to keep fighting, but
Great one. On my way. I'll get some.
damn, I suck.
But I am fit. Me.
I am on fire.
Retreat! Yes. This seems a bit menial.
And I don't mean in a good way. I meant legitimately fire was on me. The big bad fire giant.
Help middle lane.
That'll up this performance.
I'll legitimately just build the old build. I feel like the last patch build. Because they have two pretty hefty front lines. I'm gonna need so much pen. I'll do the Dominus Chins build.
Gank. Your team has destroyed a middle enemy tower. Wow. You must have awesome. Oh, fury. Yeah, boy.
Enemies in middle lane.
Retreat. Enemy.
Stop me!
Shooting down.
Enemy ultimate incoming.
Compliments to the chef. Attack!
Beyond.
Fire giant. Ultimate is ready.
Alright, we're picking it back up.
Retreat. Yes.
I'll just back. If I meet Searcher, I'm still dead.
Yeah, I like that.
Damn, X-Shell is just kind of getting clapped. We might be able to end. We're 3 ADCs.
Keep an eye out, eh?
Alright, we still got something out of this. I'm so slow. Alright. Last item what? What are we thinking? Actually, I'll do my old build. I will probably just do go Titans as well. Full on pen. Don't let any tanks be tanky. No fun allowed. But I'm open to other suggestions as well. You're frying? Suddenly, yeah. Somehow. I'm also top damage. Report me now, Uller. Nah. To be fair, Ymir has been amazing, in my case. Ymir has been absolutely clapping. He's been like super good at setting up stuff. I wouldn't have come back into the game if it wasn't for Ymir. At all. Mannequin doing work. I like how the Ra is the one split pushing. Love to see it.
This seems a bit menial.
Alright. Yes, this is the famous last game. There was a mistake that turned out pretty well because Ymir gave me a way back. That was very nice of him. They also... No, actually, I don't only want to give Ymir praise. Ymir did super well, but the enemies kept doing something weird. They always went really, really unnecessarily deep for no reason. Like, when I truly came back, it was when Searcher and... no, it was when they all just dove the tier 2 in mid, and I got 2 kills. That's pretty much when I decided, or when I came back. Damn, Uller isn't even apologizing. Bro, you cannot say I'm shit and do 3 times less damage than me, alright? Though, to be fair, he said it when I was feeding my ass off. So, I understand why he said it. But still. Yeah, it was Uller jungle. I mean, it was Apollo solo, Uller jungle, Kronos ADC. So, we had a weird comp. The enemy team ends up saying I carried the game. Alright. It's great. No, without a doubt. Ymir was the MVP of this one. I'll also say, like, their backline had a rough time responding when I ulted on them, which was a bit weird. Because usually when Apollo ults in on someone, he's kind of the one in the bad spot for the most part. At least that's what I think. Apollo becomes a bit of a target for anyone he isn't landing on. Does that make sense? So if I'm landing on the EDC, but the mage is near, the mage will fuck me up. Or will generally fuck up the Apollo, because he is also stuck a little bit in that knock-up. He needs to fully land and like the animation has to go through. Apollo unfortunately becomes a bit of a target when he ults. But if you land on your actual target, you obviously have the advantage because of the small knock-up. It's not a big advantage, but... Game security violation detected. Thank you, Smite. At least this happened after the game. All I did was press leave lobby. Alright, well. It's not like I need to be in the game anymore. Can't see the word of Cthulhu. Cthulhu is an incredibly good soul laner. Cthulhu doesn't work very well as a support. The thing with Cthulhu is that he essentially has a massive ultimate that lets him go in and not be... He's just unstoppable. And if you build him somewhat hybrid with some good items, he will kill any... Like, he won't kill something that quickly, but he just can't be stopped. He's a guardian pretty much built for solo, not for support. He's built like a warrior. All of his abilities are very aggressive. He doesn't have any peeling in his kit outside of his 2, but the 2 is it's not really fast enough to peel very well, so... Yeah, like he's arguably the best guardian in solo at the moment. I don't know, the patch is going to come out tomorrow. It's going to change a lot of stuff, so we'll see if that's going to still apply for tomorrow, but at the moment, in this current patch, he's arguably the best guardian in solo. So... Whereas Artio, yeah, I would still say Cthulhu has the edge on that. Artio is really good, but problem with Artio is that she's not really a backline killer. Like, she doesn't go in a team fight and just completely destroys everything. She's more like she's the disruptor that runs around and makes sure people can have fun. You're not allowed to jump. Like, I'm gonna root you a little bit. Better than Odin. Yeah, Odin isn't that good. Odin is not that good. Not at the moment. Odin kind of struggles against a lot of matchups. He's a bit of an awkward one. Like, Odin isn't even top 5, like, warriors in solo. Guardian specifically, I would say Cthulhu. I mean, I don't know, Cthulhu, Cerberus, Kuzenbo, probably, something like that. I'm not sure who comes in after that. I think Yorm is okay. I don't think Yorm is that good, though. I think Yorm in the current meta just kind of dies in team fights. He's not bad, though, by any means. But he's a bit weird. Well, no, I forgot Archeo. Archeo is definitely top 3 as well. Probably Kuzenbo after that. Archeo is definitely top 3. In terms of warriors, it's hard to say. Mulan and Kokolin right now, I think, are by far the best warriors in solo. By a pretty large margin. They just dominate in almost every matchup, if you ask me. But anyway, team, I'm gonna hop off. I still have a headache, so I will be back tomorrow. So, yeah, Mulan's getting there tomorrow. So it'll be interesting. We'll see how the patch goes. And yeah, thank you guys for watching as always. I really appreciate it. Yeah. See you guys next time. Bye bye.